Hi, everybody. So I want to introduce to you Taya, Mia, and Jessica, and we're going to talk about frequency today. There is a little machine that I purchased that does amazing things, and we're going to talk about it, but we're going to talk about it in like how it is helping as far as with what we're doing with ascension, with quantum, with all of the things that have to do with frequency, which is basically everything in the universe is created with frequency. So even the pyramids were created with sound frequency. So we're going to talk about that today and frequency itself. And I hope you just enjoy the conversation. And if you are interested, then the links will be below. But just remember everything we're doing right now is frequency. So every time you get an upgrade, every time you have a purge, everything we're doing with ascension is caused by frequency. So Mia introduced this to me and we were in Shasta and she's like, do you want to try it? And I'm like, yes. So we sat down and it was like an hour of frequency medicine. And I don't even remember what it was that I did that day, which one it was, but Mia did it and analyzed my system to tell me which one to do. So I'll let Mia describe it more.
Yeah, I think we did well we did like an out because you can do an analysis of your whole system and just I'll let Jess in a minute explain the science behind that because she's way better at it, but you can analyze your system and then a lot of times I'll just do the program that comes up to the top. And when we were doing that in Shasta, we also did the aura analysis, which I think is really fun.
Yeah.
Um and that kind of shows you where you're at and then you can give the frequencies via the device into your system to harmonize. It's kind of like um, you can either kind of like work to harmonize dissonance or you can kind of just work to support, depends what's going on with you. So if you are having maybe like hormonal stuff or something, you can run the programs to support or nervous system things. Or sometimes I just go in and I'm like, what flower essences like are resonant with me? And sometimes I will run those programs. Sometimes if something keeps coming up, I'm like, oh, I want to actually go get this flower essence too, and use that as well. I mean, there's just so many different ways that you can use the device. And I found that, um, especially like you're saying, honey, as a tool for what we're going through, it's really interesting because I know you've been talking about these different waves of things that we've all been feeling. One recently is like a muscle kind of soreness, which I've been really active lately. So it took me a minute. At first, I thought I was just sore from being really active, and then it kept happening and it felt strange to me. And I did a scan and tissue harmony came up. And that's the first time that that has ever been suggested to me by the device. So it's really cool just as another way to help support the system through especially this time because it's intense. There's a
Yeah.
lot coming. But Jess, I would love if we were just talking about, the technology um, for the analysis. Would you just share a little bit about that? Because I love how you talk about that.
Yeah, so the way that this thing is working is really well, there's two main types of frequencies that it works with. One are microcurrent, which is these little straps you see on me. So it's delivering the microcurrent, which is specifically um microcurrent is a really low level electrical current that supports cellular voltage, which is the health of the cell. So in a really, biological way, the microcurrent current is supportive. And then it also has biofield frequencies, which are frequencies. Your biofield is essentially your personal information field. So we have the quantum information field, we have personal information field where, all of the information about you is stored. And so it has frequencies that work in the biofield and then directly with the cells via the microcurrent. And then it has this really amazing analysis option, which is able to analyze the information in your biofield and then recommend the programs that would be most resonant for you right now. So most supportive for you right now, like Mia was saying, the tissue harmony came up for her. Um, And then when you're working with the Healey, you can either do, you know, the programs that are giving you the microcurrent. And the really unique thing about this particular device, frequency device, is that when you're sending yourself these programs, the frequencies via the programs, and you're getting the microcurrent, and you're getting the biofield, this isn't just a set of frequencies that, you know, Dr. Whoever back there has decided, you know, everyone in the world needs these frequencies. They're actually customized to you in real time. So as the Healey is sending you frequencies, it's actually doing this. It has inside of it has a random noise generator. And this works directly with your information field, with your biofield. And it's sending frequencies into that information field, kind of like an energetic kinesiology. So sending the frequencies and then receiving back in a binary yes, no, to see what frequencies your system is most resonant with right now. So every time you run a program, you're receiving different frequencies, the ones that you need in the moment. So, you know, if I run a liver program, it's going to be different than Mia or Honey's. And if I run a liver program today, it's going to be different than the one I ran yesterday, because we're always changing. So that's really the beauty of this particular device, is that you get those customized frequencies, and you're getting multiple types of frequencies at the same time to support on different levels.
Yeah, we are restructuring almost every day right now, our bodies. So it's really good that we that there's something out there that can help. So I introduced this to Taya, and Taya has been inspired to create a new business with not only this, but also you have a light therapy
Bed.
thing, right? Bed, yeah.
Yeah.
So when I told you about it, and I don't know if I put it in the chat and you picked up on it and asked me, but you've been like going to town with this machine. So I want to hear from you, like, about all the things that you've been doing, because you've been doing so many things with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I have, man, I've used this thing like crazy. What was really crazy, honey, is I think we're connected in a way, because I didn't even know you were sharing anything. And I got this really overwhelming feeling to look on there. And as soon as it popped up, I was like, okay, well, I need this. And I knew right away that it was something for my business, but I also knew that it was going to heal a lot of people. And I wasn't sure how I was going to do it, but I was going to do it. And so basically, I purchased it and I got it. And my husband is very, yeah, okay. Well, he actually was the first one to use it. He actually had a sore throat, and he was like, he had a sore throat and a little bit of a dry cough or whatever. And he's like, well, I'm going to put this thing to the test. And I'm like, go for it. So he connected it and put it on him. And I think he used the well-being. I'm pretty sure it was just the well-being. And it was like a 35-minute or something like that. And sorry, you guys. Can you still see me?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, and it was like, you know, he was 5 minutes in or 7 minutes in or something, and he looked at me, and these eyes got these huge eyes, and then he got up and TMI probably, but coughed and spit some stuff out, and then came back and sat down, and he goes, okay, I don't know if it's coincidence or if this thing really does what it says it does or works, but my sore throat is completely gone. And I don't have any raspiness or cough or anything. And I was like, cool. You know, I kind of played it off like nonchalant. And then I had started my period. Well, my periods lay me out the same day. My periods lay me out, and it was a Saturday morning, and I had started the night before, and I kind of just went through a little bit of the cramps or whatever. Well, they were getting intense, and I was like, oh, here we go, my weekend shot. And I go, you know what? I'm going to put this thing to the test. So I hooked up with the microcurrents, and I put hormonal balance, because that's what my higher self told me to do, just hormonal balance. And within 30 minutes of hormonal balance, my cramps were completely gone, completely gone. And I had barely any period symptoms. Usually I get a headache, I'm like nauseous, I get cramps down my legs, up my back, everywhere, nothing. And I had a really easy period that month. So I don't call it coincidence because I don't believe in coincidences, but it definitely worked on both of us the same day, the first time we used it. And since then, I've used it on 4 or 5 clients. And the analysis that I get when I do analysis on people, it just blows them away. They're like, I don't know how you know that. I don't know, and I'm like, it's not me. It's your body talking. It's your body communicating what it needs and what it's lacking and what you can do about it. And this device was, is able to help them. So I just feel very blessed that this came into my life when it did. And not only that, but my husband and I, so get this, he uses it the first day. Not only do we don't even have it for a couple hours. He said, I want my own. And I'm like, we can't share. He goes, no, I want my own. So he takes it to work every day he goes, he uses it in his truck. He uses it, it's so funny because he truly 100% believes in it. And this is a guy that doesn't believe in much. So that tells you something right there. And he's had symptoms, which he thinks there's just back problems or symptoms or sciatica or whatever. And I'm like, no, it's emotional. And he's like, well, whatever it is, I'm going to do this, that, the other. And he'll put the sticky tabs, those things, put the microcurrents on his sciatica and his lower back. And within 15 minutes, 20 minutes, it's gone. And he's able to be completely pain-free. So, and this was a guy that took a lot of Tylenol, Advil, you name it, he was taking it. And he hasn't touched any of that stuff for a while now. So we use it on a daily. We actually sit down at night and we'll hook up and we'll be chatting and we'll just be running a program. So it's awesome. I can't say anything about it. What we have in our hands is just the start, I believe. It's like the bridge to what's to come, but it's something big.
Yeah, it does feel like that. It's very portable. One thing I do want to say is none of us are doctors and we don't claim to cure any diseases or anything.
Nope.
So that's important to know and do your own research, but it really has been a gift and I've been very excited, and I finally started using it regularly after I got home from the trip. But I haven't even thought to use it on my husband yet. I think I will now.
My husband loves it.
Yeah.
And especially same thing for his back. He kind of he does a lot with his body and tends to hurt his back. And he'll come home if he hurts his back, at work, he'll come home for like 15, 20 minutes, slap the Heeley on, and he's like good to go. And he likes it because he just wants to get back to doing whatever he's doing. He just doesn't like the inconvenience of being hurt.
Right.
Take care of it so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing with men. It's like they're more just physical, and I found the same thing, kind of like, oh, I don't know, but if they're in pain and try it, then they pay attention. And that's even for a lot of people who aren't maybe in the subtle energy paradigm yet. It's like it's like that, oh, if this is working on this physical acute symptom, then what else can it do? Then when they're running the more subtle programs, they believe that that's doing something. And of course it's doing something. It's just a more subtle medicine. And that was actually what you were talking about, Taya, with the your husband stopping taking the Advil and stuff like that. That was a big one for me, because I've been into holistic health for a long time, but I really didn't like that I was still using Advil for sometimes for things like cramps or headaches. I really wanted to shift that. And so it might seem like a little thing, but it was like a really big deal for me when I incorporated, this frequency medicine in my life, and I could just stop using that stuff because it kind of bothered my stomach. I don't think it's great. And so I was so happy about that one too.
Yeah, I think it's huge. That's the whole thing, is when you find something that works, that we know that the other things that we were doing and taking and you know, being part of the out there and not, we know from our higher self and from, you know, who we are inside, that these things aren't good for us. They're not. And yeah, they're a band-aid, but are they really doing anything? Or are they just, you know, basically numbing it? And then, you know, it's going to reoccur. Like from the time that I did it for my hormones, I've been doing hormone balance, like probably 3 times a week. And my next period was, a little bit more than the first one that I did. But then the last one, I had, it was amazing. So I think I think it's consistency too of using this. I really do. I think that that's going to be a big thing. Like, you know, I work on clients and I've, you know, used this on clients and stuff. And, you know, I've already had people call me back and they're like, well, I need to have another session with you. And I'm like, yeah, sure. And they're like, can we, you know, look into this? Why am I having that? Or, you know, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, no problem. So I think people are just done being in pain. People are done being in pain, and they know, you know, more and more people, like the paradigm shift I was talking about, more and more people know that this stuff that we've been taking all these years it's just not good. It's not doing us any good. And we have to find a way to make ourselves healthy in a healthy way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you just brought up a really good point, which is that when we're using the frequency, it's not a band-aid. So, you know, the frequency applications, they're not looking to just resolve a symptom, but the way that it's able to, you know, receive information from your biofield, what it's actually in the information field, nothing is hidden. And this is why technology is actually amazing. You know, some people kind of have a bias against technology, but the beautiful thing is when you're working with a human, whether it's yourself or a practitioner, all humans carry a bias. We cannot help. We can try to reduce it, but we can't help it. And the beautiful thing about working with a piece of technology is it doesn't have that bias. It's neutral. And it's looking in the information field where nothing is hidden. All of it is right there. So it's able to access, you know, what actually is going on at the root, and it's giving you the feedback of, you know, treating this root thing. So sometimes when you do these analyze, like I've had many times, and I've talked to a lot of people, maybe you have, you know, maybe I have body pain. So like my body is hurting and I think I need to take something to get rid of my body pain, whether that's, you know, somebody's reaching for a Tylenol or using the Healey. But when I do that analyze, and it scans me, maybe the program it recommends for me is actually an emotional support program. Sometimes it could be like, oh, that doesn't relate, or we're not seeing. But of course, we know all of these things, our thoughts, our emotions, our energy, all of this can express through the physical body. So it's actually, you know, taking you to look at what the root is, and then it's able to support, you know, rebalancing those areas and reharmoning those areas with the frequency. And so I've been using it for over three years now, and I came in with some pretty intense physical things going on. And those things, not only did they actually changed really quickly for me, and not everybody has a really quick experience, like that can vary. But they're gone now. So even if I don't run the programs to support, I came in with 17 years of pretty acute chronic pain. And within like a week, it was gone. But I don't have to do the Healey every day for that to be gone. I did, like you said, consistently for a period of time. But once it cleared, it cleared. It does not come back. I've had
Yeah.
times I lost my Healey before traveling and not using it for quite a while. And I don't revert back because it wasn't a Band-Aid. It actually was resolving it at the root.
Yeah, exactly. I've even used it on my dog.
Amazing
My
for
dog, yeah, my dog got a spider bite on her cheek, and she's a tiny little chihuahua. And I was trying to figure out what happened at first, but then yes, it was a spider bite. And so I ran an analysis on her, and it came up with all this stuff. And so I did the vibration for her with the coil, and did that for probably a good week and a half. And she's doing amazing, amazing. And I mean, this was a huge bump on her cheek, and it was black, and it was like oozing and stuff. And she has a really pretty birthmark now, but it's no longer, filled with stuff. It's no longer, doing anything else. So it just goes to show you that, it works internally. It works, it's not just an outside thing. It's your internal, and everything's connected. Like Honey was saying, we're all energy, we're all frequency. And the faster people realize that, and realize that, you plug your phone in and recharge your phone every night. Why wouldn't you recharge your battery? We're electric. So why wouldn't you recharge your battery? And it just goes to show you, I did do an analysis on two people. I was shopping, and we were in Corte Madera, and my husband started talking to this lady, and he's like, he goes, have you frequency? And she goes, oh yeah, I'm totally into frequency. And he's like, well, have you ever heard of Healey? And she's like, no, what is it? He's like, well, I actually have it in the car. I'll go get it. So he went and got it, and she had her 90, I think he was 94 or 96-year-old father there. And then her, which she was in her 70s, I think. And I did an analysis on both of them, and she's a healer. So when I ran the aura on her battery was low. Her aura, her energy was like 56%. And then her father at 94 or 96, I don't remember what he was, it was at 92%. That shows you something. Like if you don't recharge your batteries, you're not going to be able to take care of anyone else. You're not going to be able to, we're all connected. We have to stay at that conscious level and be recharged and energized and be ready for everything that to come in life. So it just goes to show you how important frequency and energy, and doing all we can to recharge our batteries. Even if you do, I do rest, I think bed rest, I think it's called bed rest, every night before I go to bed. That is one that I do, because it actually resets your vagus nerve. And did I say that right? the
Vegas. I think it's vagus nerve.
vagus nerve.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, I think Doc Steve or Doc somebody on Healey had mentioned, since the whole COVID thing, the percentage of people in the world right now is like 70% in fight or flight. When you're in fight or flight, you can't do anything. You're not healthy. You're not in your optimal. And using the bed rest, it actually resets that and changes it from the parasympathetic to, however it is, I forget. But I've seen a huge difference in that. Huge difference. And my mom, she got one. And she hadn't been sleeping for, oh my gosh, probably 3 weeks, except for maybe an hour and a half a night. And she was getting to a point where she was like, I'm going to pull my hair out. I cannot handle this. I have to sleep. So when she bought one and I showed her the bed rest one and, she did it, she was able to get a full night's sleep. So it's amazing to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I feel like it's a massive bridge, and we're discovering a lot of bridges, and the bridges are to the bigger frequency machine, which will be a med bed. But also knowing that the med bed, I feel like is going to be, you're not going to be continuously using them, but this is something that you can maintain your system with. And kind of, you put it on and you walk around and you do your thing, and
Yep.
you don't have to really think about it. Your body's being helped and reset as you go do your daily stuff, which is really good. I did have to put it on a different device, as far because you run it from your phone or
Yeah.
and I was like, I just can't get time with my phone to run this program. So I used a different phone and it was perfect.
It's like our personal med bed is what I call it. It's our personal mini med bed. It doesn't matter how big the device is. It's what it does. It's how it connects. It's what, how it heals, or sorry, how it works with your journey.
Yeah, I mean, I just love it as a bridge too, in that way where it's not, people are so used to kind of tech products now and Apple products and things like that. So it's really fun to introduce it to people that aren't yet in the paradigm that everything is energy, because it's not scary, it's not that weird, and it starts to help open your mind up to the subtle energy field in such a major way. So it's such a great bridge just to start guiding humanity to start paying attention to that and starting to wrap their mind around it and what that means. And then how beyond the devices, we are powerful beings that can work with frequency in other ways. And then you're realizing that this is affecting you, this is affecting the water in your body. I mean, it just starts to open up all the possibilities. And even things like homeopathy. I mean, there's so many amazing tools. And once you start to see everything as energy, it's just so much more empowering, because you realize there are all these avenues to support the system, and heal and expand. And so I just love it in that way, that it's really like even you showing it to those people that you met randomly. It's that part's really fun for me, just introducing it to people who are like, what? Like, it's just is a new, and helping usher us into the new paradigm. So I love
Exactly.
That. Yes.
And that's the part for me is, this isn't, I don't know, it's about sharing it, but I'm a healer. And so the reason why I'm here, and I know the reason why I'm here, and it's come to me so strong, it's my knowing really strong inside now, that I'm here to heal people. I'm here to help people on their journey to get where they need to be be able to ascend and everything that, and to have this device in our hands and it to be able to help people feel the best they can feel, and know that they could make plans a week from now or whatever, and they've had pain before and they'd be like, I don't know if I'd be able to walk that far or do this or do that. And for them to have that power back, to know that they're going to be able to, that they're going to be okay, that is just more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
This really is. It's
Yeah, it's just another tool to take it back on. I haven't gone to a normal doctor in so many years now. If something really comes up, I'll see maybe a naturopath or a different kind of a healer or a different modality. And I do upkeep, I do certain body work sessions and things. But I mean, feels so good to get so deep into the paradigm of where we're going, that you feel really self-reliant and you feel good and you don't feel afraid of if something comes up, you know, you can handle it. You have these tools, and
yeah.
that just feels amazing. And especially through the last few years when things are really weird, you know, it's like I certainly wouldn't have wanted to go into to the normal sort of medical field, and like I didn't need to, because I have all these amazing tools and resources, and it just feels good. Like you're saying, it's very empowering.
Very empowering. What about, I do have to ask you guys, I'm in the process of asking my higher self and trying to figure out whether I'm going to go further and purchase the Mag Healey Pro, because I got the Mag Healey when I purchased this, but I don't have the Pro program for it. And I'm just like, there's the water program, there's a lady or a man's name program, then there's the atmosphere program. What is your guys' take on that for people who are kind of on the, I don't know, on the fence about even purchasing a Healey, number one, or not a Healey, but a Mag Healey?
Maybe Jess can talk about that and talk about what the Mag Healey is, the difference, because yeah.
I have right here. So yeah, this is the Healey that we've been chatting about, and then this is the Mag Healey that she's asking about. So they're don't do the same thing. They're complementary. The Mag Healey actually works with magnetic frequencies. It's a pulsed magnetic frequency. And essentially what's in the Healey, what makes it a Healey, there are two of them in the Mag. But we don't use the Mag like with these wires that give you the microcurrent, which is that cellular voltage recharging your battery. The Mag doesn't do that. It's using this pulsed magnetic frequency. And so yes, it's very complementary. It's different. Like I use both of them. There are some programs I prefer on the Healey and some I actually prefer on the Mag.
So can I ask you what you would prefer on the Mag Healey versus the Healey? Just throwing it out there.
So for instance, the main one is there's a neck program on the Mag Healey that if I'm having neck pain and I put that on, it like instantly melts out. And with the Healey, we have the pain applications that have the stickies, and they are helpful, but I find personally the Mag is much faster and more effective in that case. Most of the time I'm using my Healey. Like I love my Healey and I love my microcurrent. It changed my life.
Yeah.
But the difference between the Mag Classic that you have and the Pro that has, so it has the atmosphere programs, the water programs, and McMakin is the name. So Carolyn McMakin pioneered microcurrent technology. Well, not microcurrent technology, microcurrent therapy. She has a fascinating story. She has a book called
I have her book here if you guys are interested. I pulled some books from the shelf.
It's a book.
Okay.
So in this book, she tells like this wild story, and I won't go too deep into that part. You can read the book about how she was a chiropractor, but she talks about how she discovered microcurrent because she didn't create it herself. She literally found it, and started using it on her clients that were coming in that like weren't getting better. Like no amount of treatment was really making a difference. So they were like the really hard clients. She had discovered this microcurrent therapy and was like, maybe I should try it. And really it was this intuitive pulse that was, she was listening to this inner guidance that was like telling her some weird things, but she trusted it. But she ended up using the microcurrent technology and having these amazing results with people that were considered hopeless. And on various things, injuries, asthma, like all sorts of things. So she really pioneered that here, well, at all, really. She's been the one to bring it. This technology has been around, as have, you know, all of the frequency technologies for a long time, but historically they keep getting suppressed, right? So
Yeah.
she came into this and really pioneered it. Carolyn McMakin worked with Marcus Schmecke, who created the Healey, to create a lot of our programs. And what she uses is called a dual channel frequency. So when you're receiving a microcurrent treatment from her, she has two different frequencies running that are treating two different things. So maybe she has one frequency running for the liver to, you know, identify the organ, and then another frequency that's running for inflammation. So if you make the idea is if you make the right match, you'll get the result. And she took, you know, her deep knowledge and experience and was really pivotal in creating the programs that we have and frequencies that bring some of these. But Healey is a single channel. So you're getting one frequency at a time. Although, like we said, those frequencies are changing the whole time you're running the program based on what your information field is saying is resonant. But you have two Healeys in the mag. So you're getting two frequencies. You're getting
Gotcha.
that dual channel when you use the McMakin programs. So those are only on the Pro. And it's not microcurrent. She does the microcurrent, but this, they just made it into the pulsed magnetic application.
Okay.
So that's the thing with the McMakin programs. But I will say, and they're amazing. They're amazing.
So what do you run on it?
So for me, though, the reason I have the Pro and love it is those atmosphere programs. They're my favorite thing about the mag, to be honest. And I will just put them on and like run them in the house. There's one called Energy Clearing that, oh my Lord. So I first got the mag and tested it. I had gotten it and I was taking a trip and I was actually going to meet somebody I work with in Healey in England. And she was doing a big show at a convention center with a Healey booth. And I'm like, you know, live in the jungle, live in the mountains, away from everybody. Like I'm trying to show up online, but crowds and fluorescent lights and like all that noise, it's not my thing. So I had the Mag Healey and I went to go meet her and I was just getting fried. Like I felt like I was just getting fried in all these crowds and the lights and all the commotion. So I was like, let's test this. Let's test this mag out. I hadn't even tried it yet. So I look in the programs and I see energy clearing and I was like, that's what we need. So I put it in the circle of like in the center of our little booth and I turn it on and all of a sudden it was like, it washed everything out and like just cool water running through your system. And our whole space, all of us were like, what just happened? Felt so good. And all of that, you know, all of that chaos just washed out. So the other thing I do with the energy clearing, because it's by far my favorite program on the mag, is my husband also is very sensitive in crowds. And when we travel, sometimes if we were in Venice, which is crazy crowded, like you can't even move without running into somebody, even off season. And he was not enjoying it. Like he was happy to be there, but we couldn't leave our Airbnb around all these people. And I was like, I got you. I put the energy clearing on the mag and just put the mag in my purse. And we walked around Venice all day and I had a happy husband. It was amazing. So
In your purse.
I just put it in my purse. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I had a big purse.
So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. How far out does this work? Like when you go ahead.
It's 9 feet, the radius.
9 feet. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I really love, I mean, there's so many programs. There's like creativity program and a work program. I actually, when I remember to put that one on when I have work to do, I am so much more focused and it goes so much easier. So, you know, they're all great, but I really do love the atmosphere programs.
Okay.
And the McMakin neck one.
Yeah, see, my husband has had neck issues to the point where he almost feels like he's like, it's so weird. He's like, I feel like my spinal cord is shorter than my neck or something, and it doesn't, he's like, it just feels too short. And he'll get like this horrific headache that starts in his neck and goes up the back of his, and he's like in bed. He can't get rid of it. He can't. So if that's what you're talking about with the neck thing, I'm all over that. So that's okay. So that's good to know, because like I said, I was just debating. And then also I can use that in conjunction with the Healey. So I can actually put it on in my healing room. And then I can use the Healey to analyze somebody, or do their aura, or do a session, and still have that going. And it actually clears the room for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you're sensitive, it's
I'm an
really
empath.
helpful. I mean, I use the biodefense programs on the Healey too, but this is nice because you can just have it in a space, so everybody's getting that clearing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so on the Healey, I was gonna say you can use them like, when you're traveling, it's like you can use the ones just on the device too, and it's easy and small, and the energy protector or the clearing or the geopathy.
Yeah.
I love this.
Good to know. Good to know. Because, sometimes us as a healer, and what we do, you put that protective bubble around you. You do everything you can to protect yourself from anyone's energy that, might not be of the highest of good. But to know that you have that extra protection as a healer, that's huge.
Yeah. I
That's
think it
huge.
helps. And I also think it strengthens your field. I think you can strengthen your field in a lot of ways. I think meditation for me really helped, but then I think this helped too. So like there's the EMF protector. And since, working on my field through the meditation and through using these energy protector ones, the EMF one or whatever, I don't feel sensitive like I used to that stuff. I used to, if I had to go into the city, say I was in LA and I had to go to downtown LA to get something, it would be so overwhelming to my system. I would get home and just be like, totally feel depleted and just like frazzled.
Yeah.
And I can dip in and dip out of those environments now, and it doesn't affect me now. I don't feel that way anymore. So I think it actually, like Jess is saying, it's like you're harmonizing things, and they hold. You're like strengthening your system.
Have you guys done the power of 3?
I haven't done it as a protocol, but I have done the programs like when they pop up for me.
Okay. My husband and I are doing those together.
Amazing.
So I'm just curious if anybody's done them, or, what they've seen or what they felt, or, anything like that. Because we're so far into this ascending, and we're experiencing so many symptoms. And I mean, I've heard people all over the place, allergy symptoms, flu symptoms, everything you can think of. And the Zapper program on that one, no, wait, is it that one? I'm getting confused on what that is. I think it might be in that one.
It is.
That is detox. And that also detoxes, the EMFs, that detoxes the metals, that detoxes all of those things that we need to detox in order to, do what we need to do.
Yeah.
So the Zapper program, I got from my higher self right away. When I read it, I was like, wow, okay, that's cool. That's good, because I've been using humic fulvic acid for, oh my God, daily for 4 years now. And I still use it, but you can't do too much, I don't believe. I believe we have so much that we have to do, and the minerals that, like, one thing that I do with all of my clients, and I was going to ask you guys this, I got from my higher self that putting a pinch of Celtic sea salt under your tongue, and then drinking a glass of water before you do a session, and then another pinch after and more water, I think that almost solidifies the session. It solidifies what it's supposed to do. It solidifies kind of just the whole unity of everything, and your body working and the device working and the universe working. What is your guys' take on that?
Well, the Celtic sea salt is a crystal. So you're basically creating a more crystalline system for yourself. Yeah.
Okay, makes
Um,
sense.
yeah. So
I take minerals all the time now. I mean, I about maybe almost 10 or more years ago, I started working with this with frequency with the healer. No devices, just working with it on our own. And he was really bringing it to our attention then that as we move forward, we were going to really need to mineralize our system, that there was a sort of inner gout, he called it, going on because the soils were depleted and also things were changing, ascension, stuff like that. So so I started so long ago. I take them all the time, but I think especially if somebody new to this, or like you're working with clients, it's really great to do that. I mean, I think it's great anyway. I do that through the day sometimes.
Yeah.
But especially just because most people aren't used to this paradigm of taking minerals, and it's so helpful. There are so many things that ways that the body can react negatively if we're depleted. So I think it helps
Yeah.
for the frequency because we're water too, and also
Yep.
just like getting people into that practice.
Yeah.
Great.
Because the
another,
frequency working with the electrical body, having
Mhm.
Yeah.
having, you know, an appropriate balance of minerals is really important. And most of us, unless you are, you know, consciously taking them or doing something about that, most of us don't have that from our food sources anymore. And also, like side note, Healy knows this, that the minerals are really important. And it's even in the manual, you know, it tells you
Yeah.
to like go out and put your bare feet on the ground. It tells you to
Yep.
drink a cup of water and make sure that you're hydrated and to get minerals. And
Yeah.
for that reason, like that's why they've created their new supplements that are called elements, that are not normal kind of supplements. They're really these tiny amounts of things that use what's called biosignaling, which is fascinating. It's more like homeopathy than the way we're used to taking supplements, but along the same premise of, you know, we're not just giving you a frequency program that some random person has, or some expert even has decided is what is best. It's checking in with the body to see, well, with the information field, so the whole self, the whole being, to see what's needed. These ones are, the way that it works through biosignaling is, rather than like most supplements have such a kind of large dose of whatever it is, that it forces a change on the body, right? It forces a change on the cell. And this is a very small amount that signals to the body and the cell to make a change. So it actually is like a little tap, like, hey, you know, optimal state over here. Would you like to come with us? And the body says, oh, yes, of course. Rather than this kind of forced, you know, forced shift in the physical system.
yeah.
And those are like the minerals and things. It has copper and things like that, so that it's really supporting your electrical body, because we are electrical beings. And
Yeah.
I think people understand that, which no wonder so many people in the world, like, no wonder we're so unwell. We don't
Right?
understand what we are, how we work at all.
I know. Well, we've been told that we're chemical all our lives. We've been told we're
Right.
chemical. And
Yeah.
that's why, you know, we've been diagnosed with this and that and the other. And oh, you need to take antidepressants to level out your chemical balance here and do this. And it's what? No, no, I'm
And
sorry.
that's why quantum biology is so fascinating. Like, I love
Right?
learning about quantum biology because it was the break from that. That
Yeah.
this idea that it was like a chemical lock and key that
Right.
created gene expression, we now know that's not true. You can do it through a chemical, yes, or actually the way Carolyn McMakin explains it is it's like a key fob. So rather than having the physical key, which would be the chemical that, you know, unlocks a certain gene expression,
Yeah.
the frequency is like a key fob. It's just like beeping it, and you can do the same thing, but you
Yeah.
don't need the chemical. you can actually do it frequency. And because we are actually liquid crystal beings, and our liquid crystal matrix is made to receive, hold, and transmit frequency.
Yeah.
We step out of the idea that we have to move matter with matter, and we start like really dropping into this idea of frequency, we can elicit change so much more effectively.
And without side effects, you know, like all of the medication that they've ever prescribed me in my life. And you talk about not going to a doctor. The last time I've been to a doctor, honestly, was when I had our daughter, and she's 23 years old.
Amazing.
So I have taken care of myself and my husband and, well, our children. We are now empty nesters. We've been empty nesters now for 5 years. But I have always had a knock at that door going, okay, this is not what it seems. There's more out there than you think. And there's more answers than you think. And so I always knew that pharma was not for everyone. It was not the answer to everything. And that there was the possibilities are just endless. You know, like look at dandelions. You know, we have been told for how long, those are weeds, you know, spray them, get rid of them. No, eat them. What? You know, it's like people are just so blown away by what we actually have in front of us. And if they only knew the possibilities of working with frequency, their whole world would open up. I truly believe that, you know? So it's just, the possibilities are endless. It's only what you put that cap on, what your intention is huge with this. And I will say that if you're not going to believe it, if you're going into it going, you know, like, yeah, my husband was like, okay, I'm going to put this to the test, but he believes in energy. He believes in frequency. So he wasn't like completely shut down about it. But if you get somebody that is like, yeah, okay, I'm all the way pharma, I take this, I take that, you're just, you know, blah, blah, blah. You think it's going to work on them? Intention.
But I actually have seen it.
You have?
I have seen it work on like massive skeptics. But yes,
Wow.
definitely intention is powerful, and especially when we're working in the quantum. I mean, Marcus Schmicky talks about this all the time. You know, when you sit down to like run your analyze or do your program, you are going to get so much more out of it if you can focus your intention, because the quantum is always responding to that.
So what, can you give me an example of like somebody who is just like, okay, if somebody is looking at this video and they're really skeptical, but they're tired of the old paradigm shift and they're looking to find something new and something that they can actually heal themselves, or God, I keep using that word, I apologize, keep you know, working with to make themselves feel better.
Well, like my husband, for instance, when I got Healey, we were actually living separate because he was working separately for a period of time. And I, you know, I became unwell not long after, you know, we were married and had my 2 kids. And so he'd really spent a decade and a half plus with me on my own healing journey, really trying everything. And, you know, maybe having little shifts, but nothing ever really shifting it. So, and I grew up actually with no medicine. I didn't use medicine. We couldn't go to doctors. We healed ourselves. So I grew up in that, and he grew up with a dad that is a doctor. So we grew up in very, very, very different worlds. And, you know, we have much in common, and we love and respect each other very much, but that was not a commonality. And you know, he was open in terms of like, he's not judgmental about whatever I was into or believed in or chose to do. And with our children, you know, really, I took care of them in my way. So he was, he's very open-minded in terms of like, you do your thing, and he's not judgmental, but it's not his thing. He doesn't go to energy healers like I did. He didn't he doesn't do about it the same way that I did.
Yeah.
Traditional medicine. And he was skeptical because he's seen me try all the things for so long. So when I got the Healy and we weren't living together right then, and I was telling him like, oh my God, I'm better, baby. Like I feel good in my body. And he was just kind of like, okay. Like I could tell he was scared. He was like scared to hope that it was true. And then,
Yeah.
me be disappointed and him be disappointed, because honestly, my illness was a big burden on him for a long time as well. It wasn't just
Okay.
affected. So anyways, I was like, no, I'm going to show you. I'll prove it to you. Like, wait till I come. So I was coming out to see him here where we are now. He was here. And he had at the time, so he's always been in robust health. He is very physical, so he gets hurt often. Like he gets injuries, like saws body parts off and things like that, like wild things. But he's never been like, he has robust health, except for this period of time when he had actually moved away for a bit for his job. He was physically unwell. He was incredibly exhausted. He lost a massive amount of weight. He aged like really fast. He was just like shrinking in all ways, energetically, physically, everything in front of me. And I was quite alarmed. Because we didn't know what was going on with him. He also had this rash, like this gnarly rash right on his chest, like just really red and angry. Nothing helped it. And he did, I gave him, natural things to try, and he tries that. So I can't say he wasn't open, but he doesn't
Yeah.
really believe in it, and nothing worked. So anyways, I brought the Healy out. And the first day I was here, he was drinking coffee. Like he knows it's not good, but he didn't know how else to function. He was drinking pots of coffee all day just to get through work. Like he was just so exhausted. And I was like, babe, let me put the Healy on you. Like, let's just put it on you before you go to work. Let's try it, see what happens. So, he was like, okay, whatever. Didn't think it would do anything. He put it on, ran the program, went to work, came back from work with like life in his eyes for the first time in quite a while. Like there was that brightness, like he was back. Told me he didn't drink coffee the whole day, no problem.
Nice.
Had energy. And then we went ahead, his scans were pulling up skin, which was like this rash thing. So we ran the skin programs, and after the third one, this rash that he had had for a year disappeared. And he was like, okay. And then he saw me, that like for the few months that I was out there, he saw, we were hiking, and the prior year, I couldn't keep up at all. Like I was hiking behind everybody in tears because I was so determined to hike, but I hurt so bad. And this year after the Healy, we went hiking, and I was like flying. I was outpacing everybody, and including him. And I remember like kind of running up this hill. And when he got to the top of the hill, he looked at me. He was like, "It's real." And I was like, "Yeah."
That's awesome.
Really
That's
good.
And we ended up getting his parents on it, his dad, his doctor dad, that doesn't at all believe
wow.
in it at all.
Yeah,
Right.
At all.
beautiful. I think
That's
that's a
awesome.
great, beautiful story to end on.
Yeah.
This was an amazing conversation. And whatever you can do for yourself, for your own healing and for your own frequency, go for it. Do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Whatever resonates with you.
Mhm. Thank you, all of you, for showing up. This was beautiful.
Thank you,
And
honey.
I hope you guys enjoyed it. Yeah. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.